Welcome to another episode of the Podcast Archive, your podcast channel. The source material we're diving into today is a really comprehensive strategic analysis of 2026 predictions, focusing on the accelerating integration of AI.
Yeah, across finance, health, tech, the whole institutional landscape.
And it's an excellent collection. The scope is just phenomenal. You really map the entire terrain.
Absolutely. But, to translate that breadth into something truly actionable for a high-level reader, we need to focus the lens a bit.
We need to sharpen it.
Exactly. We need to zoom in and really maximize the significance and the flow of these excellent insights. So let's start there.
Okay, so the first thing we notice is that the analysis, it risks diluting its own impact by treating this wide array of genuinely fascinating predictions as equally weighted.
Yes.
And that choice kind of obscures what we see as the central strategic tension for 2026.
That is exactly it. You make this really robust case for pervasive AI adoption. We see the rise of true agentic AI.
So moving beyond chatbots to actual autonomous tasks.
Right, to execution. And then you have the consumer gadget boom that results from that. But reading it now, it feels a bit like a slideshow of brilliant but disconnected ideas.
It's a bit disjointed.
Very. You jump from, say, supply chain dynamics for high-end hardware straight over to Web3 governance, and then suddenly you're on to the mental health risks of AI companions. The reader starts to lose that critical through line.
So it reads more like a checklist of facts.
Exactly. Not a unified narrative showing how these high-impact trends actually interact with each other.
So the big question is, how do we fix that? How do we solve that structural problem but keep all these critical data points?
We need a narrative gravity well, something to pull it all together. To give the expert reader a powerful, sticky mental model, the material really should be framed around a single overarching tension.
Okay.
We'd suggest centering the entire narrative around the dichotomy between, let's call it, autonomous integration and human accountability.
I like that. So it's not just reorganizing a table of contents.
No, it's a structural key. Every single technological trend you cite, from agentic AI orchestrating workflows to the boom in biometrics, it has to be narratively linked back to its necessary human countertrend.
The accountability piece?
The accountability piece, the increasing demand for mandatory AI literacy, new regulatory guardrails, and, the need to mitigate these very real psychological risks.
Okay, so if we run with that framework, that central tension, where do we start? What's the most urgent component?
I think you have to start with the causal chain.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. So organize the sections causally. Right now, the hardware discussion feels a bit isolated. We need to explicitly link the predicted surge in hardware demand.
We're talking about advanced memory, GPUs?
Exactly. High bandwidth memory from Micron, specialized inference GPUs from NVIDIA. Link that as the foundational cause powering the shift toward agentic AI.
And just to be clear, agentic AI, we're talking about systems that don't just respond, they act autonomously. They execute entire workflows.
From start to finish, that hardware scale is the engine that enables this level of autonomy.
So once you establish that engine is running, you immediately introduce the governance response.
Precisely. That means positioning the systemic risk classifications from the EU AI Act and that push to embed mandatory AI literacy in higher ed, not as separate topics,
but as the direct societal response.
as the essential immediate response to that hardware-enabled surge in autonomy. That kind of causal structure, it just creates narrative momentum. It makes the whole piece feel strategically urgent.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about a specific segment to really maximize the relevance for an expert reader and to highlight what we think is probably the single most disruptive shift.
I think I know where you're going with this.
The section you're currently calling physical AI has to be elevated. It can't just be a supporting prediction. It needs to become the thematic centerpiece of the whole report.
That is a crucial elevation. The core theme running through all this material is that AI finally goes physical.
Right.
Intelligence is moving decisively off the screen and into the real world. That is, I would argue, the highest impact topic for investors and leaders in 2026.
But right now it's sort of buried.
It is. It's embedded in this broader, kind of drier discussion of infrastructure and inference economics, and that just prevents it from standing out as the central driver of market transformation. This physicalization, it's the major transition point your expert reader is looking for.
We're talking about true advanced robotics here. Systems that can sense, decide, and act on their own in, messy, non-digital environments.
Exactly. My suggestion would be to dedicate a comprehensive standalone segment to the physicalization of AI. Really explores depth, the implications for labor, for logistics, for supply chains.
And the narrative has to be forceful on this point.
It has to. It has to establish that 2026 is the pivot year, the year this moves from being a pilot project to being the operational core. We need to stress that this is a fundamentally different class of problem than, say, a language model running in the cloud. This is real-time, high-stakes edge computing in physical reality.
And the material already has phenomenal, really concrete evidence to lead with on this.
Absolutely. Don't just mention that Amazon has deployed its millionth robot. Talk about the complexity these systems are solving.
Right.
Use that specific detail you uncovered about the BMW factories. I mean, cars driving themselves through kilometer-long production routes.
That's an incredible image. It's not a future vision, it's happening now.
It's complex, real-time control and decision-making in physical space. That's decentralized inference at a massive scale, and it requires immediate action without any cloud latency.
So if BMW is doing that, we're talking about a fundamental shift in infrastructure needs and a huge demand on the supply chain for very specialized components.
It is, and that's exactly where you cement the financial opportunity for the reader. You have to connect those real-world uses back to the hardware investment thesis.
So you draw the line for them.
You draw the line. You position Lam Research's wafer fabrication equipment as absolutely critical to producing the chips you need for this scale of physical automation. And, importantly, explain the often overlooked parts, like how Amphenol's Interconnect products are essential for that high-speed data transfer you need for real-time robotics.
That gives it the necessary technical depth. It bridges the physical reality with the financial opportunity, which is what this audience values.
Okay, let's shift to the regulatory discussion. You correctly identify the major shifts, but the material should probably provide a much sharper, more synthesized breakdown of what we could call the dual compliance burden.
Especially for regulated industries like healthcare and finance.
Exactly. That's a great framing. The material rightly points out that healthcare systems are scrambling to play catch-up with governance. And you see organizations facing simultaneous compliance with the EU AI Act, with DORA for financial services, with NIS2 for cybersecurity.
But they're not three separate hurdles.
Not at all. They're an interwoven net. Their demands often overlap or even conflict, and that creates exponential operational complexity.
And the expert listener, the strategist, they don't need to be told what the laws are. They need to understand the operational strain of the overlap when they're trying to deploy these high-risk systems.
Precisely. There's a real risk here that a focus just on the technical AI adoption overlooks the huge administrative and financial cost of this interwoven regulatory landscape.
So we need to show why that dual compliance is the strategic challenge of 2026.
Yes, we need to synthesize it. So let's unpack that. Where do these frameworks collide most painfully?
I would say third-party risk.
They collide most acutely in third-party risk management. This challenge appears across the EU AI Act's high-risk assessments, where you have to prove your third-party AI system is fair and safe. And it's also in DORA's operational resilience rules, where you have to prove your vendor is secure and recoverable.
So if you're a bank using a third-party AI model, you're not just doing two separate audits anymore.
No, you're trying to reconcile these overlapping, sometimes conflicting demands under a single, massive, continuous risk profile.
So let's make that really concrete for finance, where DORA is so critical.
Okay, so for a bank outsourcing, say, AI-based credit risk analysis, you have to explicitly state that they need to simultaneously assess the AI's fairness and bias against protected categories. That's the AI Act mandate.
Right.
While also rigorously evaluating the AI vendor's cybersecurity and operational resilience. That's the DORA mandate.
This forces the accountability chain deep into the entire AI supply chain, and it puts enormous strain on procurement and legal teams.
And healthcare gives us a different, but just as acute, example of this same foundational compliance challenge, especially around infrastructure readiness.
It does.
Healthcare leaders are citing infrastructure and data governance as the biggest barriers to AI adoption, not the AI tools themselves.
It's the foundation.
It's the foundation. The analysis suggests that health systems need foundational readiness, clean, standardized data, clear governance, before they can safely or even legally deploy high-risk clinical AI solutions.
Like diagnostic tools or ambient scribes.
Right. This is where a governance failure becomes a real patient safety and compliance issue. You have to address things like shadow AI usage, staff using unauthorized generative tools for discharge summaries, before you can even think about compliance for the formal high-risk systems.
Wait, before we move off that, we have to elevate the emotional, the high-stakes part of this regulatory tension.
The companion AI?
The psychological risks of companion AI.
Absolutely. The analysis is at its strongest when it contrasts the rapid, almost reckless deployment of these systems with the lagging safety measures.
The material mentions the rise of these conversational AI companions and the documented cases of severe psychological harm.
Yes, including instances where they perform worse than general crisis chatbots, which is staggering. This isn't just some policy footnote. It's a high-stakes failure of accountability that demands immediate regulatory action.
So linking that market reality, the growth of these companions, directly to the critical need for legally mandated guardrails.
Like requiring mandatory redirects to crisis resources?
That strengthens the whole argument. The argument that accountability is the defining tension for 2026. It moves the regulatory sections from being dry policy updates to essential strategic risk management.
Exactly. By juxtaposing the ambition of these tech systems, whether it's an autonomous agent in a factory or a virtual companion on a phone, with the very high stakes of regulatory failure, the entire piece just gains strategic gravity and urgency.
To sum up, the initial completeness and the depth of the predictions you've compiled are really commendable. It provides a very strong baseline for understanding the landscape of 2026.
Yeah, it's great stuff. So the path forward really involves three main actions to maximize the report's impact. First, create that cohesive strategic framework. Organize the predictions around that essential tension, autonomous integration versus accountability.
Right.
Second, elevate the physicalization of AI. Make it the central evidence-backed narrative thread. Focus on that critical movement of intelligence from screens into real-world embodiment.
And finally, provide a much sharper analysis of the regulatory environment by detailing the operational stress of that dual compliance burden on enterprises, especially in finance and healthcare.
And use the lens of third-party risk management and the urgent need for foundational readiness to do that.
We look forward to seeing the refined material. We'd invite you to submit your work back in for a subsequent critique when you're ready. Until next time.